I forgot to play the video.
You did.
Here. Happy Sunday, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed that little funny intro. Those of you that caught it, got to start off with a laugh. Hi, Cindy. How are you? Good to see you. Norma Jean, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. No complaints. It's something new every day. The energies have been a little, roller coaster. Just recognizing that we're in that stage of, coming out of the hibernating place to prepare for all the beautiful becomings, so to speak, that are well on their way here. So, how about you, T?
Absolutely. I felt a bit of a shift in the energy today, which was interesting. It still feels a little bit, I've been saying it feels like a rubber band, like going like this and like, just wait, just wait. And so today I was able to accomplish a few things I wanted to get done, but I've really learned to be more like a frog. And learn to magnetize, as you said earlier, magnetize, and really enjoyed our little walk outside today. Got some fresh air, saw the sun peek out for a second, grabbed some fresh cedars so that I can make a bit of cedar tea tincture, whatever we choose to do with it, because that can be very healing and beneficial. So yeah, it's good. It's good. And I'm reminded of something that you want to rant about. You want to start with the rant? Something about toilet paper.
So, you know what?
We're gonna start with a rant today. And we don't rant usually.
No, and it just comes down to it's like, I know common sense was something that was it kind of headed out the door a long, long time ago.
Right.
So, but it's one of those that you keep hopeful. You know that some point in time, it's bound to show back up somewheres. But there are times that I'm definitely reminded that it's a slow process. And so, we was in Mexico, and the last place that we were staying before we headed out and headed back here to BC, it was one of those that was like, I don't get it. And it's one of those I had to really sit back because there was nothing else I could do about it. You only could use what you have when you're, in a place that, you just have to deal with what's there. So you use it when you're using someone else, or when you have any, depend on someone else to give you what you need whenever you're staying in these places. You just don't know what you're going to get. So the one thing we ended up getting was that the toilet paper that they have there was scented. I'm like, okay, all right, scented toilet paper, great. All right, so when you're a female, it just is what it is. Okay, and it's like, why would I want something to wipe my what with that has a scent to it that for most of us as females, we have to be careful with that because situations like that will bring upon issues, so to speak. I mean, it can probably be for the male too, especially if you're using something that has a scent on it. And I'm like, who thought of this? If I could find the individual who thought about putting scent on toilet paper, I'd wring their neck. I mean, because it's just like, why would you do that? But given at some point we understand that, some people just do things and they really don't think about it. And that's where you have to step back and you have to say, forgive them, for they know not what they do. So
Yeah,
there's
somebody
my,
thought it'd be a nice idea. Oh, it'll make the bathroom smell better.
yeah, forget about what it is you got to wipe it with.
Right? And I feel the same way. And Jessica, you're right. Chemicals. Same with like regular scented candles you buy in the
Nope.
store, or even for that matter, like bounce. Like I haven't used this stuff for years, and occasionally Jade gets a candle and she loves it so much I'll allow it. But all mine are done with natural essentials. So
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. Common sense ain't so common anymore. And yeah, absolutely. Everyone's agreeing with us. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so we're fresh there, right? And so, and it's funny, it brings to mind too, talking about, we'll call it yoni for everyone's sake. And sorry, gentlemen, if you're offended, I'm sure you're not, because you know us by
It is what
now.
it is. We're human and we're adults. Let's just get real right now. Okay.
Right? There's so along with a lot of womb healing going on these days, because the womb is where everything is birthed. And also the yoni, will say, the steaming vagina, whatever you want to, whatever you're comfortable with, is become quite an honored practice as to nurture and love thyself, right? And this is part of it, because we've always been taught as women to be a little like, oh, keep yourself hidden, right? Like just to be very, um, we don't talk about that, right? So to have these conversations and just be open about it. But you're right. Yeah. And as they sent the toilet paper, they raised the price. Good scented stuff. Same with anything with perfumes that you're putting on your skin, which is your biggest organ itself anyway. Lotion, sunscreen. No, 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 no. Unless it's an essential oil that is good for the skin. So
Right.
absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
You've got to understand something too, that when you understand portals aren't just something that you just walk through. Okay. Portals exist in ways of understanding that our nostril is a portal, our mouth is a portal, our ears a portal, our private area has portals. But you got to understand too that so does the skin. They're just minute portals. So anything that you're introducing to the skin or to the body, you have to be careful, because it's going into the vessel in which you're walking this earth on and in. And it's very vitally important to understand what you're placing upon you, especially the skin, because it is the biggest organ. It's the largest organ that the human being has. So
Yeah.
it's like you just got to take care of this. And at this point in time, we're adults here, and at that, you mentioning that, having these conversations was just like a huge hush hush thing, and I never understood that. And I'm like, we're human beings, for Christ's sakes. We're born naked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't so shameful of the fact that I was naked as a jaybird when I came out. Why now? Why do we hush it? And this is where we begin to understand what was being employed and what was being implemented was ways to start teaching us to suppress things, to be shameful of these vessels, these beautiful, wonderful vessels. If we had just been so much better, or been able to just be. Can you imagine how much difference it would have been of just our experiences alone if we'd not been taught to suppress, we'd not been so taught to be shameful of the beings that we are? Because they really, in those in those fashions of doing that, they cause separation that much more for the higher aspect of us, doing its best to ensure it integrated with this vessel, so that way it was a fluid and a flowness that was meant to be to begin with for us.
Absolutely. Thumbs up on the videos, guys. Please like.
There you go.
It's party time. It's party time.
There you go, sparking those issues again. I'm just saying.
Oh, if you guys missed the beginning of the video, I totally forgot to play the intro video. And I'm standing here, I was like, oh, we're live. Oh, I forgot to play the video. Like, it took seconds for me to clue in. It was super funny because I was listening to something before. We were listening to the lovely Mel's message, and it was really wonderful. So,
Yep.
yeah. And yeah, so good rant. Absolutely. And it is partially the church, absolutely, that helped with that shame. It was the school, it was our parents, it was our good girls don't do that, right? This is where it all comes in, and it's like, well, they brainwash you to be a good girl. So I don't know, I kind of went the opposite way. You
Fine
tell me
good girl.
I did the opposite.
Hey, I was black sheep all the way around. Just, yeah, I mean, I wore the hat, had the tattoo. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I went against
absolutely.
grain on every level.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and Luna's right. Every generation needs to know. So, and that, it goes through all products, which is what's so fascinating about it. The whole time in Mexico, I used coconut oil on my skin and I wouldn't even get like dark. Well, and I think Norma Stein has something to say about that.
She was eating sun up. I was like, I'm sitting here, I'm getting dark. I said, it just keeps hitting my skin. I said, you over there. I said,
Yeah, I was calling it into my cells. That's why. Give it, bring it.
yep.
Absolutely. It's a good thing we did because it's sure been a little. Let's see. I went out the other day and I walked into it started to pour rain. And then the next day I go out and it's hailing like crazy. Literally, as I'm walking out the door, it starts. I'm like, all right, what kind of fuckery is this? Yeah. And then the next day it's snowing and it's like, it gets really crazy here in North Van because people don't know how to drive in the snow. I mean, given it was really slushy, so it was not that safe. And so, whew, poof, right? It was a little crazy out there. So I actually ended up pulling over for a few minutes because somebody slammed on their brakes. I'm like, dude, you don't do that in this weather. Yeah. So the energy I thought was a portal. Oh, yeah. Tango's reminding me. Okay. So yeah, we were going on about portals of the body. Your front door is a portal. Let's go back to that. And any comments about the sense and stuff, you guys keep speaking about it because people just don't know. They just don't know. Absolutely. Um, so Tango had a portal walking around with him. Remind me of the colors, Tango, so I don't have to look at my phone, please. I think it was orange, blue, like a ball following him around. And then had quite an experience where he was seeing natives with not full headdress, but with feathers on their head, and a small child, and he was asking them questions, but they wouldn't answer him. I'm like, "Well, keep trying because it'll come." Yeah, and you're supposed to figure it out. It's just
Yep.
part of the fun. So he's definitely cracking open, so to speak. Blue, orange, and white. Blue, orange, and white. So if we looked at the chakras, if we were looking at chakras, it would probably be, yeah, yeah, blue, orange, and white, just like Norma.
It cannot be coincidental. Although I love blue and orange. I love the two color
Yeah.
combinations.
Yeah, absolutely. Blue, orange, and white. And so if we look at star chakra, right? Throat chakra, and orange is your sacral chakra. So that's interesting, which are all energy centers, which are also portals. So, um, yeah, I can't define for you what that exactly means because I'm not supposed to. I've already told you. I'm not supposed to. Norma, do you have anything to add to that?
I suppose the only thing that I'm getting is that just to understand that those are chakras that are communicating with one another, um, especially since two of them are above.
Yep.
So basically, what I get is with those chakras, with the two that are above, the white and the blue, that you are working in those two chakras at the moment in your higher level of being, where your sacral is keeping you grounded at the moment. That's what
Beautiful.
I
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Luna says we've had snow, sleet, and rain today. Yeah, I know. There's some areas that got tons of snow, and then it got really sunny. So, mm, we don't need to speak about that. Blue Rose is saying your TV and phone are portals too. They sure are. So, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I always feel like my shower is a portal because you can go in the water and you feel like you're somewhere else. Yeah, or you go in the tub and you feel like you're somewhere else. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right, Tango, there's your answer for that one. One of the other things we were going to talk about today is, oh, I know what it was. So these are the questions that were coming in earlier in the day, and I always like to try and address them here. One was in regards to mushrooms. So let's have a mushroom conversation, but let's not just keep it to one type. Let's do the broadband, and I'm going to give you a quick overview. Okay, so mushrooms come from nature, whether or not they're psychedelic, and they are all beneficial to the human body. They all have healing properties. Norma, if you want to take a minute and ask Sybil, because I'm not going to remember off the top of my head, I do have all of them downstairs, that specific mushrooms are good for specific issues in the body or specific systems in the body. Lion's mane, for example, is really good for the brain. And I will go to the farmer's market and I will buy lion's mane direct from the farmer and I'll bring it home and I will cook it in butter and garlic and salt and pepper. And I will eat that whole thing and smile the whole time. It is so delicious. Now, Norma Stein doesn't like mushrooms. Lucky for me, she doesn't like it. So,
It's a
you know,
texture thing.
it's a texture thing. And that's true for a lot of people with the mushrooms, right? And then you have there's reishi. Actually, I'll go to turkey tail because I know that one off the top of my head. Turkey tail is good for, it's actually healing for cancer. So it's got a lot of healing properties for the body, for cell regeneration, for healing cells. If you've ever seen cells attack a cancer cell, it's quite phenomenal. So to support your cells more is always a good thing, right? So they will take out that which does not belong. Yeah, absolutely. They will take it out 100%. And reishi is good for calmness. It's like a relaxing to bring the nervous system down. That works. Okay. And what other types of mushrooms have we got? Hold on. They're coming to me. Turkey tail,
Turkey
reishi,
tail, lion's manes,
cordyceps.
chaga.
Chaga, that was the one. What remind me
Mhm.
what chaga is good for?
Chaga is rich in antioxidants and has
Yeah,
been traditionally used for its potential to support immune health and overall vitality. It may also help reduce inflammation and protect against oxidative stress.
right. Okay. So let's review the rest because Sybil's always got the best details. Go with the cordyceps because that's the one I didn't speak about yet.
Cordyceps. The cordyceps, traditionally used in Chinese medicine, cordyceps are believed to increase energy and endurance. They may also have anti-aging properties and have been shown to support kidney and lung function.
Awesome. Okay. And then what does it say about lion's mane that just expand upon that one too?
Lion's mane is unique for its potential to support brain health. It contains compounds that may stimulate the growth of brain cells and improve the functioning of the hippocampus, a region of the brain involved in memory and emotional responses.
Beautiful. All right. And turkey tail.
Turkey tail, this mushroom is abundant in polysaccharides, particularly polysaccharide K, PSK, which is thought to support the immune system and may be beneficial for patients undergoing chemotherapy.
Perfect.
There's also Agaricus blazei, Sataki, reishi, and Mataki.
Yeah, Mitaki. Talk about the reishi because those are the main ones that I spoke of that are more
Okay.
consistently available.
Reishi, often referred to as the mushroom of immortality. Reishi is known for its immune boosting effects. It's also been associated with stress reduction, improved sleep, and may have anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties.
Yeah, absolutely. And so we just wanted to read those off because there are more to this. Just, these are sort of the basics, right? And then you get into some combinations. And then you get into what they're doing some now they're adding frequency to them and creating nootropics. So you're going to see this grow exponentially because it's been suppressed a bit. It's been on a level, like most of what some of these are, but it's the mainstream does not know about these. And so what'll be fascinating is to see. So I'm discussing with a girlfriend right now that actually is part of a nootropic one, and they've actually done frequency on it. So I'll get it. I'll get information out as I get it. And then it's a proprietary blend, of course. So, but when they do those, and quite often it's a good replacement for coffee if you're trying to get off coffee. Some of it'll have a little green coffee in it, but it's not as much. So it's a nice wind down if you're coming off coffee, or if you need a little boost in that afternoon, right? You're at that 3 o'clock point. Oh, we should talk about that one day too. Okay, yes. The rhythm of the body. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So in 24 hours, your body goes through quite a rhythm. And if you're aware of when you're waking up or having issues within that, we'll call it the clock because it is a clock. Each system of the body has a spot within it. And so you can start to allocate and work on that one specific area. Okay, so there's some idea of some mushroom things for you. Of course, you can eat some and they're good. There are millions of types of mushrooms in nature. I mean, millions. And millions, mushrooms are all connected underneath the ground by something called mycelium. And that's their communication system. This is how they communicate. And they actually help out trees and bring this over there. Like it's like a little superhighway under the soil. So you have to imagine how fun guy that is. Sorry.
No, it's
Okay.
good. It was good. I give you that. Especially after what I did when we was in Mexico. I get it.
All right. And on top of that, it's supporting the whole forest floor. And so you get to know what mushrooms are in your area. Now, do be aware that many you cannot eat. They are poisonous. So, I mean, I came home what I thought it was lion's mane, but it wasn't. It was the beard. There's another one called bearded something, and I'm washing in the sink. My brother's visiting. He's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm gonna pick it up and eat it." And he's like, "You just picked that out of the woods, and you're just gonna cook it up and eat it." I'm like, "Uh huh, uh huh." And I ate the whole thing to myself. And he's like, "You don't even know what it is." I'm like, "No, I have a pretty good idea." Yeah, so I didn't have to share, so I was pretty happy about that. So yes, health food stores do carry it. Tango, if I was you, I would be. You can also order grow kits. So there's a company, and I don't know if it's Canadian only, called Stay Wild. I'll do a little. I'll do my weekly post on this for the AFC newsletter this week. I'll put a post out on it because it's really important. Growing your own and getting them fresh is always the best. Second best is going to be tincture or powder, right? So, and then there's varying qualities of that. So always douse. If you're going to go to the store and get some, I want you to douse it. You're on Vancouver Island. You should look at Stay Wild. Yeah, check out Stay Wild and see what they're coming in with. Yeah. All right. And then let's go on to another type of mushroom. There was a chat in the Telegram group about the Maris Amanita mushroom. And that's the one that is discussed as regards to the Santa story, right? That's the shamans would have the mushroom, and that's why it's red and white, and the deer were involved because the deers love them too, and the deers, will pee on them, and that helps to take away some of the poison. There's this whole story around it. You can find it all over the internet, and that is said to be one of the original stories of Santa Claus. So there's many takes on that. I truly believe, as discussed with even David and I have had a great conversation about this, and we've done mushrooms together several times. And then you get into the medicinal mushrooms. Now, I don't want anybody buying them from the store because they're government regulated and now they've got chemicals on them. So now you're feeding yourself chemicals, you're not getting the same effects whatsoever. And so this is the most important thing. No, it's the same as your food. Know the source of what you're getting. Know the intentions behind the company. Know who, like, how do they operate? And I want you guys to question absolutely freaking everything right now because we're going to tap into another subject in a few minutes. But on the mushroom thing, so we've got the little we've got shaman grown mushrooms. They are uh PE, which is penis MB, and it's called that because of the shape, which is always annoying for me to say, but that's okay. I don't really care. And they're shaman grown, and they're grown with love, and then they're set up with frequency as well. And then I add my love and my frequency to it as well, and my intentions for the person receiving them. And then what I always recommend is that one starts with microdosing. Now, Norma Jean started with a full dose. Would you like to share your first experience, Norma Jean?
Oh, let me tell you, it was it was definitely something that I didn't anticipate the experience that I had, so to speak, because it's not something that you can visualize having. It's not something that you can really have a general inclination other than, what you may see on TV, where they, have those psychedelic mushroom type of, peace things going on. But my first experience was so just eye opening, so to speak. It was one of those that whenever I had when it first really was kicking in, and it was like I just relaxed into it. As I relaxed into it, it was one of those that you know the body is going to respond a little bit because it's something new. However, if you have a strong enough being and you have a good enough connection, it's one of those that it's like I was sitting there and it was like the body wanted to fight what was taking place, but I just eased into it. And that night I met myself for the first time fully and experientially. That so much so it was the body was just doing what it needed to do. And I wasn't even aware of it because it does it with or without me to begin with. So it was so experiential. It just being able to see things in a more profound state to understand that this place isn't what we think it is. However, when you have the chance and opportunity to get to a place where, as I did on my first experience, it was like what I was seeing was so much more profoundly beautiful than what these two eyes have ever shown me. And being able to see through to see what the truth of trees and leaves and animals and what the sky actually can show you is so profound. it really, the first time was just one of those experiences. I was just open to whatever it was that they were willing to receive me or to show me, and I was just receptive of that. And that night later on, I went upstairs just to go ahead and relax and see about going to sleep. But there was this ship. It seemed like it was like almost like the I never can remember the stupid name of that, but it was from Dr. Hugh, the telephone booth that would you would be able to travel through. Was kind of like what this looked like in the sky. And I was laying on the bed, and through the window I could hear them get up and come downstairs. And I looked in the window, and they were sitting there, and they were flying where I could see them in the window because I was upstairs. And I was like, okay. So I got up and I went downstairs, and I was standing out on that back deck. And what happened was this ship came down, and now we're in the mountains. And so all the mountains were just it's all trees out there, except for what little bit you could see of cabins and homes and things like that. And there was this one particular spot that it went to, and when it went through, It was glowing red or white. I'm sorry, it was glowing white. But this like what looked like a ship went down to it and went through it. When it did, it went boom, and it just turned red, and then it all disappeared. So it was just beyond experiential for me. It was like you see a whole, you see so much more to who you are. Because in order for me to see that, I had to release that control. I had to allow myself to let go to understand that everything I was seeing outside myself was coming from within, and that was the being, that was me, the being showing itself to me.
Yeah, beautiful. And so what these are bigger doses, guys. So these are not the microdoses that I'll always recommend to begin with. But what it does is it locks off the front cortex a bit, right? It's and then all of a sudden you have a new perspective. Now, which one is reality? Right? We keep saying, is this the dream? And so, anyways, along with that, it can be a profound experience, create new neural pathways in the brain, help with
Mhm.
anxiety, help with depression, right? Help with a lot of people are reporting in some brain fog. I mean, lifting up that brain fog, it's when you get your left and right together and start connecting, which is probably one of the reasons Norma keeps saying to me, you're because I'm supposed to be all mind. When we look at my genealogy, I used to be. I'm like, oh yeah, I know that fight that I was having, and
Mhm.
that's gone. That's gone. Now, it wasn't just the mushrooms, it was also my openness and willingness to put in the effort and the space for myself to make the changes. So and when you microdose, you can still operate all day. Not a problem. You just are now becoming more of an observer. It puts
Yep.
you into observer mode 100%. Yeah. Oh, and even helps with suicidal prevention. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, just to have that new perspective in life. And it's really, really, really beneficial. And it's going to be coming out in gangbusters. I already see it. It's already being legalized. It's
Oh,
already
yeah.
being used by doctors. But now again, it's that control factor, right? And so I'm not playing that game per se, right? I'm outside of that game. Yeah, I don't want to be in that matrix having to fight the rules, right? I've done that for way too long.
It's
So,
going to be beyond that as well.
yeah, absolutely.
Discernment
And
to be
so,
definitely.
yeah, absolutely. And so, if you're interested, I want you to dose for it, but I also dose for you and have a conversation. And then we've got a group that we keep everyone in, and it's been really quiet. So, everyone must be doing fantastic. So, I will happily put out some more information in regards to different companies. There's other things from nature too. So aside from the mushrooms, and then there's golden teachers. There's different levels. Now I tried David's golden teachers with him, and I found them not as strong, not as strong because they're still. I still definitely not. I wasn't the same. So I could probably do 2 grams of PE to 3.5, 4 grams of the golden teachers, in my opinion. But they're similar. So it all depends on the batch and how much how many times have you taken mushrooms, because you start to shift on your journey as well. So let's see. I've heard precautions about 4D astral plane while experiencing shrooms. Thought on the entities are non-benevolent. Yeah. So if you're being and you are clean, clear, and concise, I never worry about anything ever, because how often do you hear me say, "Can't touch this"? That is like a command from me. So absolutely, and I wouldn't say that we're traveling that. I would say if you're in with a group of like 12 people that you don't know and you don't know who's facilitating the group, I would use extreme caution. So
Oh,
when
yeah.
and this is for, again, this is for, I would never recommend somebody do a bigger dose on their own. I would always recommend somebody be with them,
Yeah.
because it's important to have that in the space. And there's also a way I set up the container. So setting up the container when we do sessions, there's 2 of us there, sometimes 3, and that's for 6 or 7 people, because you want to make sure that they're all just getting comfortable, just, within their space. I don't try and fix anyone. We can send love, can send support, but I don't try and like work on their body while they're in their experience. It's their experience. This is really important too for me. So I make sure that we do that. So I've never worried about that. But if you're in a really, really big group or you're with a shaman that knows how to harness energy, I'm hearing a lot of stories about that with the ayahuasca nilly willy stuff going on. So lots of people are running to do it without a real sense of what they're stepping into. And I always recommend doing mushrooms first. It's a much gentler introduction to nature. And then you will know when you're called to ayahuasca. You will know. So, and I have done it, and it's my body was like, nope, you're not doing this. So it didn't have any effect on me no matter how much I took. Can I teach dowsing? I can. So we'll give it a few minutes for that. I also wanted to touch base on, what was the other conversation? Hold on. It was around, okay, we're having a quick conversation around the show. Really quick. So I want you guys to think about this. We now no longer trust what we're being told, correct? We're taking information from one side and now fully trusting that that's right and that they're the good and these guys are the bad. So bear with me. So the opportunity now is everyone's hating on these guys, the black hats, we'll call them, and loving the white hats. Norma, I'll let you take it over from there.
Thank you for that open door. So here's the thing. There's some, and I've been speaking to this since the very beginning, and I'll continue to speak to it. There's so much more to this than you know. This is so much bigger than you could perceive, because it takes knowing and having the knowledge of history, his story, her story, to know what's taking place and what's transpiring. That's the reason why they've told you for so many years, no matter where you go or what's going on or what age or anything like that, they always tell you, know your history. If you know your history, then you know what's taking place and transpiring. But they never told you that whenever you know your history, that you also must understand that you must be able to see through certain roadblocks, so to speak, as you're doing your research, because it goes so much further, it goes so much deeper. There's so much more information. There's so much knowledge to understanding what's taking place and transpiring right now. And a lot of it was when you was taught this, that you were taught to look outside yourself instead of understanding how to look within. So this is what I'm going to give you, and understand that this is my perspective and it's what I see, given what I've experienced and what I know and what I've looked back on my past to see what's taken place and what's come first full circle, so to speak. The one thing that we must understand is that all this is a game. It's a game. It's a game of the gods, pure and simple. But what you got to understand is that the gods are at play within us. And what I mean by this is we are the god. And we must understand that each planet represents an organ. It represents a part of who we are. And in that, we're either the ruler that sits upon the throne, and you're wearing your crown, and you are the one that is ruling your kingdom. And then from there, you have the ones that you appoint, whatever it is you appoint them, whether it's a leader, whether it's an advisor or anything like that. And this is how you look at the planets, because they are related to your organs. So when we got to the place where a lot of things started being hidden from us, and time went on, and thousands of years later, and things were being used against the ones that didn't know, and the ones that had all this had enough knowledge to know what to do against the ones who didn't have this knowledge, it then became a big game. but sometimes those games became wars. And in those wars, we're the foot soldiers, the ones who don't know. And it's still being played today. Mark my words, it's still being played today. No matter what's taking place, what's going on, what they're offering you, what they're saying they're going to do, no matter what, there's a reason why they're doing it. They want you playing, they want you to choose sides. They do this every time it comes down to being able to get to a place where it's time to elect someone. They do it every time. Because if you look at history, up until this point, it was they were using people of importance like actors who would say, oh, I like this person, I like that person. Look at with Obama. Nobody even heard of Obama until one person, because of her stature, because of what, how much of an influence she had upon people, Oprah, endorsed him. She was the first one to ever speak about it. Do y'all remember that? So when we look at things and we look at what's taken place and transpired since Trump's come in, Trump's Trump. I'm not sitting here saying any of this is good or bad. I'm just pointing out that you have a choice to make. You either follow other gods that have gods telling them what to do because they're in their nefariousness, because this is a game, or you follow you because you are God and you understand what's taking place and what's going on. Because you see, whenever everybody sits back and talks about Q, does anybody know who Q is? I do. But I'm not going to tell you who Q is. There's no purpose or reason. All I'm telling you is it's a game, and that is something that's being utilized to keep the ones that are coming in and commentating the game and don't realize that they are busy, so that what's taking place in the background isn't seen. So when we look at Trump and we look at the time that Trump and Putin got together and Putin handed off the soccer ball, everybody thinks, oh, this is all the information about all these guys, these black cats and stuff like that. How do we know that? You show me where it shows that anybody said anything that what was in that soccer ball had anything to do with the opposing team. Because you see, this is how I think. I think outside the box because I'm not in this world. I'm not of this world. I'm in this world. And in order to understand this world that's outside of me, I must first understand it from within, understand the destruction, and understand the war that goes on within me first, the raging war. Because you see, that war began because of their nefariousness, because I didn't know any different. I didn't know any better. Not until I got to a place where I got tired of that warring within me, and I said, I'm done with this foundation I was given. So at this point, that soccer ball doesn't mean anything, because what you got to understand is, do you know your geometry? Do you know your symbology? Do you know what it all actually represents? All the way down to its root, its beginning, its truth, what it truly signifies. Because you see, when you're watching a football game, guess what they're throwing around? They're throwing around a biscuit Pisces. Did you know that? Anytime they're playing, anytime somebody's playing with a round ball, they're throwing the worlds around. Whether it be basketball, soccer, volleyball. Then when you get to looking at what's the shape on the balls, do you question that? Do you look at if there's any symbology or if there's any geometry attached to that? So you see, people, I'm not coming here to give you fear porn. That's not what this is about. I'm here to give you a chance and opportunity to actually think outside the box you may not know that you're in. I'm here actually giving you a chance and opportunity to step back and ask yourself these important questions and think critically about what's taking place and what's transpiring. Because this is a fight for your mind. This is a fight to keep you distracted so that you do not focus on you. So you see, anything that's going on outside of you is a game. And they keep you doing that. That's the reason why there's so much separation. That's the reason why there's been wars. That's the reason why this group doesn't like that group, or this color doesn't like that color. Because when separation began, that's when all this began. And that separation took place within us. And it took place within us first. So it's us that's got to come back together. We've got to recognize that with our masculine and feminine, we don't need anything else. We have what we need within us. We become one and bring those two together. Excuse me. The beauty of the process that can be created, once you understand yourself as a whole, when you bring those two together, and the love that that creates, and the strength of that, and you come together, and you have that masculine and feminine that is in that beautiful, just erotic dance with one another, creativity becomes but just of a natural state, because that's how it's meant to be. So I come to you with this because I feel it's something that is very important for me to convey, because at least at this point, nobody can say I didn't speak to it. But like I said, this is not about fear porn. This is about giving you a chance and opportunity to step back and actually use some discernment and make choices that is best for you. Because you see, it's your world they want. It's your world. Because you're the energy that feeds theirs. So that's why I want to say, choose you. It's not selfish to choose you when it has anything to do outside of you. I'm not saying that you need to be passive or dismissive of someone else and how they feel and things like that. That's not what I'm saying. Use some discernment to understand what it is that I'm saying for the choices that you make each day. Because you see, even though it's not in my immediate environment, I know that things are taking place. I know that they're happening. And the thing that I must understand is I have to take responsibility for understanding self first. So that way, when I look out here in this world and I see the issues and I see the problems, I can be in a space and place where I can begin to come up with the solutions. Because if I can find the solutions for me, which I've been doing since I was 33, by doing away with a system that I had no idea about, but knew it just had no foundation, and began to build my own, I became more of a solution-oriented individual. I'm not perfect. I'm working on myself daily, every day, but I'm always gaining information. So that way it becomes knowledge. So I know what's taking place and what's going on outside of me. So that I know how not to be a part of that problem, but be the one that comes in with a solution, because I recognize a problem. And that's as far as I can go, because my throat.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a little tough coming back after being away. Beautifully said, Norma. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Anybody has any questions, let us know. But so everyone's, we've got all these different pockets of people. Some people are going on homestead and building there and creating their own community. Fantastic. Other people are choosing to do other things. Many are choosing to sit and wait until somebody outside of them comes to rescue them. And that's you're just getting swallowed up by a new big fish. So keep this in mind, to use your discernment, to pull back and zoom out even further and really observe. Because whatever's happening externally is, for the most part, out of our control individually. We can work on self, expand this consciousness, bring out this frequency, and then everyone starts to change the world. So, yeah, absolutely.
Can I mention this right here? There's one more thing that I need to get out. I need y'all to just hear what I'm saying, okay? Because I'm not here to tell you what to do. That's up to you. I'm only here to give you some information of the knowledge that I've come to see and to know. This QFS, the BRICS, Bitcoin, it's just a new system that's replacing the fiat. And from what I see and from what I've gathered from the source that I use and come to understand what was being spoken to, y'all all may eventually get that abundance, so to speak. It may end up becoming to fruition. I can't say for sure. However, if it does, understand this. It's still a system of control, because even though you may have what may be seen a lot of money, they will implement a point system to it. It's already happened in China. And it's one of those that you must realize and recognize that in this time period, we just got through going through what's considered basically, whenever you set up a society, that is socialism. Because that comes after
democracy.
Yes, democracy, because what it does, democracy creates the systems that creates socialism. Okay, because then that's when things become a society. After socialism comes communism.
Go do your research, guys. Go back to the beginning. This is just not Norma's time for nothing.
So it's like when you really see the bigger picture, when you're up here and you can see what's taking place, because you understand who you are. You understand that you have this chance and opportunity, because I'm letting you know right now. Now's the time that if you want to be able to get yourself in a position in place where you're not a part of this system, but you've done what you need to do to prepare and get ready to know that you have the time it takes to understand what investments you can make, what steps you may need to take to know that, regardless of what's taking place, you'll be okay and you have your family. Understand that sovereignty is not what everybody's been talking about, where you go in, you sign these pieces of paper and you get out of something. That's not sovereignty. Sovereignty is of the heart. Sovereignty is of the knowledge and the information that you gain to understand what's taking place in this place we call Earth, because of what's been going on and the variousness that's going on, because it's going to continue to go on, because this is what gods do. They're gods that keep in a certain bloodline that keeps the nefariousness going, because that's how they keep their world going. What about yours? What are you going to do to ensure that you have your world and that your kids have theirs? Know you. Because no matter what happens or what takes place, abundance has nothing to do with what you put in your hand. It has nothing to do with what you've got as far as numbers in your checking account or your bank accounts. Because guess what? When numbers were created, they weren't for counting. They were never made for counting. Why do you think it only goes 1 through 9? Because anything after that works off just those 9 numbers alone. Anything that it comes about works off those 9 numbers alone, period. And those deal with your chakras. Those deal with the planets that are in our solar system. Those deals with the levels that we go through as far as where the nether world and where the astral world is concerned. Because you see, I'm just telling you what I've come to understand. I'm just telling you that I've gained enough knowledge and understanding and tapped into the wisdom of my ancestors, because it resides within my DNA, that I see. I just want to let y'all know. I want to let y'all know what's taking place, what's been going on. Because you see, Russiagate isn't what everybody thinks it was. And then when you go and you look at the German flag and you look at the Russian flag, there's 3 colors that they all have. Now, if it's just red and if it's just white, it means peace. It means that it's all good. But when you start mixing some black in there, there's some war. There's going to be some issues. And when you go and you look at both of those flags together, you'll see that they look just alike. But the reason why you hear so much about CNN is because what are CNN's colors? Red, white, and black. So when you get to the understanding, the depthness of what's taking place and what's going on, you'll begin to understand where you are in history, because you'll know her or his story. You'll know about the gods that are in rulership or in this fight. Why do you think so? Look, the chessboard's been being played. The moves have already been made. We already know pretty much where this is going. It's just, do you know who the God is that's about to really reveal itself? Because you see, in this game, you have to know who the winner is. But you don't always know who the truth of the one who owns the team is. Okay? So I wanted to put that out there. T, thank you for allowing me to do that.
Yeah, no worries. It's been on your chest for a while, so it's important to help everyone understand this. And it's when you come into that observer position and you really just observe what somebody says, what they do, the actions they take, you start to see things a little different. And then you start to go back a little further, and then you start looking around the entire area. Oh, I see what's going on here. It's always been this play back and forth in politics. This is what they do. So, thought you're having 1,000 years of peace? Very possibly. But under what, right? But under what game? So that's all we're saying is, which game do you want to play? So we're critically building at this time the ability to observe the system, play within the system, because there's no escaping at this point quite yet fully to our full understanding if we want to do what we want to do. So we're in here to help. We're in here to help, but we're operating from over here most of the time. And then we drop in, shields up, vibe high, let's get through this. And right, armor on, armor of God on, whatever you want to call it, and then back out again. And more and more and more conscientious about everyone you interact with, everything you touch and connect. You're depleting part of your energy. And so that calling back your energy is really important. And so I just don't want anyone to go, oh, well, it's all good now. It's going to be wonderful. I too thought that. I really, really believed that. And then the more, because we don't stop asking questions. As soon as it was, as soon as though you can take this and go in and you have to sign an NDA, I'm like, why would I need to sign an NDA? I thought we were going to end this shit. You start to question. So now what am I signing I know enough. Why do I need to sign? If I'm a frequency being and you're a frequency reader, why do I need to sign anything? If you know where I am at all times and always know what I'm doing anyway, why do I need to sign anything? So this is kind of
galactic,
right?
Where are these galactic people now?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, this is oh, this is why, and I'm glad you're pointing this out, T. This is where discernment comes in, guys. It's a beautiful, fantastical stories, but use discernment into understanding what's the truth. Because many people can tell you stories. There's a lot of them to be told.
There's a lot going around.
And everybody's having their own experience here. I'm just here to tell you, even though I've had these what seems to be fantastical stories, they're mine. Now I'm willing to share them. But I'm here to tell you the truth. I'm very transparent about who I am. I'm very transparent in that I'll tell you, look, I can tell you what's going on right now, but don't think it's not going to come further, and I'm not going to expand in my understanding of that, because I can tell you right here, right now, what I know. That doesn't mean that it's not going to grow. That doesn't mean that it's not going to change. That doesn't mean I'm not going to make mistakes. All I'm doing is just letting you know what I see, what I've come to know, and what I've come to understand. I just want y'all to know, use discernment and use those choices where they benefit you.
Yeah. So sorry if you feel like we're stirring the pot a bit, because our perspective has always been different. It's always, but we're just sharing. If I don't feel it, know it, see it for myself, then it is not in my reality. So therefore, I will not sit and wait based on some story going on in some movement that is just as freaking controlled as the mainstream media. I am not going to follow it. I'm not going to wait for it. I'm going to stand in my power now. I'm going to choose me now. And so if you want more information on this, then absolutely. Yeah, then absolutely reach out, get in the Telegram group, start a discussion. It all starts with getting to know you. And we've been so external, we've been brainwashed to look outside of us, to keep going and relying outside of us. And it's just not right because it's still the same game. And this has been going on for thousands of years. Oh, it's this king now, and it's this king. And they tell you all these fantastical stories about what really went down in the wars. And it's like, when people, if anybody is dying, I am not in. There is no reason for that to be going on. There is more than enough abundance on this planet for all of us to live here, have a space, live in harmony with nature. And that's what the manifestation I have been working on, that is my future that I perceive, is to have these spaces around the world self-contained. So we're not relying on outside sources. I don't know how everything's going to unfold, but I'm really freaking comfortable in the unknown right now. I'm good. How about you? Because I know you guys have been playing on for a long time. A long time for some. Some of the people have been
Yeah.
out this for 40 years.
And do know that when you come to understand most of the purpose of the reason why they caused this the C thing with the 1-9, when you really understand why they did that, they did it on purpose. And when you go and you look at the how this goes with the socialism to communism, and you see, if you begin to put that together to see what they did each time that went into place in those particular areas, you'll know why they pulled what they pulled with that. I'm just saying, history repeats itself. Just can you see? And you want to do some looking, and you want to gather some information. I'm giving you the treats on where to begin.
And if this is the first, exactly.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. If this is the first time you even heard about this, because I know there's some people that don't come for this information to us. They come much more for the education and the spiritual portion of it, but we're also in reality. So we are here. We're just been researching the heck out of it, trying to understand it more so that we feel what we're speaking it's our truth, but it's also a collective truth amongst those that are part of this spiritual community that believe that there is more to this world than we've been led to believe.
Never resonated with me from the beginning.
And as we expand our consciousness and change the frequency on the planet, along with the reflection coming back to us from doing, it's a combination with the earth as a sentient being. Every single plant is a sentient being. Crystals, trees, rocks, stones, every being on this planet has an experience. And they can raise in consciousness too. But being human is to get to come face to face with God. It is the utmost, because as your Kundalini rises and your third eye opens, that's when you have that opportunity.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I'm telling you, you'll never, when you meet yourself for the first time, ultimately, fully, it's beautiful. And there's really no words that can really express that. It's just profound. I wouldn't be here, sitting here, and being who I am if it hadn't been for that.
And you have to experience it. And Blue Rose says, that's my issue with the QFS and Nasara. Big chunks of money and galactic beings controlling our money. No thanks. How about removing red tape and permissions that keep us from doing what we want? For our greatest good. Yeah, absolutely. And so when you could get a really big eye view and you go back to the beginning of all this, you're like, oh, that makes for a really good TV series or movie, doesn't it? Yeah. Absolutely, Burrows. I don't believe the Great Awakening is about politics or religion. It's about understanding our true selves. Yeah,
Bingo.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I often think that, are they just dragging this out so that more people are activated? Right? Is this war being drug out because of that? Because, I don't know. I don't know for a fact, but I find it super freaking fascinating. Yeah.
They're just
Oh,
still putting things in place. That's all they're
right?
doing. They're
Yeah.
still putting things in place, and they're still stringing everybody along. Because
Yeah.
you see, if any and everybody that's watching TV are getting programmed right now. It's just new programs.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Amazing.
All right. Let's lift up the light a little bit and go whoop whoop. And
You
so
got
that's what we
this.
have for right now. If this interests you, we want to hear from you because we will
Yeah.
speak about it more. We'll create a separate show just for that. It literally will be its own show, and it will be spiritual intel. I don't know yet, but definitely. So we got to try and bridge and keep the content. Can have different shows for different purposes. Yeah, absolutely. And Durandal says, I think they're waiting for the act from source, and I think it is soon. Yeah, you know, and we will know. All I can tell you is right now, it feels like a whole pattern, and that it's like an elastic band being pulled back, and it's like, just wait, just wait, just wait. And so it's just being really comfortable in the unknown.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how many people that are spiritual out there speaking, especially those that are all love and light. I'm just really curious how many of those are actors or actresses too. I'm very cautious who I will entertain watching. Very cautious. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Tango says another one. Yes, please, separate show. Okay. Okay. Okay.
All right. Just be
Absolutely,
ready.
guys. Just be ready.
Be
Yeah,
ready.
be ready. All right. So I just want to know is dun 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 dun. Hawatki, are you still here, please? Can you let me know? You've got your rods with you. You've been very patiently waiting. And everyone who chooses to stay on, if you choose to jump off, go ahead. I'm going to do a little rod session here for somebody. I promised it, so we'll squeeze it in. We did go a little over today, and that's okay. Yeah. Yeah. What they think we need to hear. Exactly.
That's every
Absolutely.
day.
Chicka chicka boom boom.
It's every
Yeah.
day.
100%.
There's no truth
Absolutely.
to it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. She's
Okay.
ready. Awesome. If you're welcome to stay, Normie, you're welcome to jump off if you want. It's up to you.
I think I'm gonna go cool off because I got a little hot.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
I know. I don't have to, I never say that to you, but I know. All right. All right. Lots of love to Norma. All right. Yeah, go ahead and go on the run, guys. I'm literally going to tag this on the end, and then I'll carve it out from the recording for later for some people. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we're going to do another show, and in the meantime, let's talk about rods. All right. This is the dosing rod. I had the opportunity to work with a master doser through COVID, and I have had rods in my hand since or close by. I've also moved on to body dosing, finger dosing. So I've kind of got it down pat. So I love to teach people how to dose. And so let's go through this together for those of you that would like to learn. I'm gonna give you this, and this is important. The outcome of the dosing is completely dependent on you and your headspace. And so I always recommend relaxing. Drop your shoulders. Take a few deep breaths. Close your eyes even. Tap your chest right here to like put your attention down there and get it out of your head. Because when you start trying to control with your head, it's not going to work. They won't work. That's just how it is. This is about an energy connection, and therefore the energy connection must be pure. And so if it's not working for you, what I want you to do is I want you to stop, drop, and meditate for a few minutes, like a couple minutes. Now you should hold it partly sideways like this. All right? Arm bent. And I get a thumbs up. Sure. And please show me a yes. And it swings towards me. So what I want you to do is practice that. Okay? Practice that for a minute. And then you can say, please show me. I'm going to do it this way. Please show me a no. And it goes the other way for me. All right? Now, because this is a copper rod and it's conductive and it's attached to my hand, which is electric, there is a connection there energetically. But you can also do it with your body. So I just want to know, how are we doing with the rods right now? Keep me posted, please, and keep practicing. Often putting them in the dirt is really helpful for clearing them. I literally bought these ones on Amazon. So I like this one because I've had the ones before that are just here and they come apart. I've also made several. I don't have one in here right now. I have a big gauge. I have a Wonder Woman whip of copper rope. Seriously. And so whenever I do retreats, I make them and get everyone to get connected and get to use them for themselves. I did post a video in the Telegram group today showing me with the dowsing rod, showing how a piece of Tektite stone dropped Wi-Fi. So you can read body energy. You can dowse for water. You can dowse to find something you lost. I found lots lost. In fact, I was doing it for a friend. She's like, no way. And I'm like, So it's quite amazing because really it's like a connection, right? To spirit, connection to your higher self. You're always connected. We're energy beings, can't be created or destroyed energy. So what happens when we pass? We become something these eyes can't perceive. And I could go on all day about that. Let's give you a body dowsing. So if you want to try body dowsing, you got your yes and you got your no. Woo! Perfect. Now practice. Go outside and read a tree. Just keep practicing. Ask questions that first you know the answer to, and then start asking ones that you don't. Fantastic. And I didn't even have to activate you. Well done. Congratulations. Amazing. Amazing. It is not hard. It's about getting out of here and putting your consciousness here. If everybody operated from the heart, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So, and it's always a good reminder. So for body dowsing, you're going to stand tall like a tree. Okay? Same thing. You're going to put your consciousness here. Close your eyes. Please show me a yes. And my body pulls forward. Now, not everyone is going to be the same with this. Some people don't move. Some people go to the left. Some people go to the right. It's different for everyone. So again, we start with the yes and the no, so we know our yes and no. You can douse food. You can douse a crystal. You can douse pretty much anything. But it is important to not be in your head because you can manipulate it a bit, especially with the body dosing. So it's really important. Practice, practice, practice. It is. And that's why I said, I know these rods. I swear I'm full of copper just from this, right? Because they're always in my hand. I have a copper bracelet and it's just part of who I am and part of my experience. And that being said, I'm going to do a little post in regards to if you want to know your birth date or your birth time, sorry, I can dose for that. Yeah, it came out of left field. I was listening to a conversation and I was like, oh, I can tell you your birth time. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. My birth time is wrong. I knew it right away because I have my long birth certificate. And I went, my time's wrong. And then I pulled it back. I was born at 3:33 a.m. So how interesting is that? And I checked all through it. So, and I gave Tango his. He's like, how'd you do that? I'm like, I know how to do it. So as we go through this awakening ascension process and start to stand more and more in our own power, more and more gifts are coming in. I'm very cautious about what I'm going to consume right now because I'm getting flashes of information for people and I'm like, "Whoa, I don't need all that information right now. Only when I choose to turn it on, please." And that's part of managing your energy is choosing when you'll turn it on and when you won't. So, and that's just a small getting your clairs going. And I'm going to do a class on how to learn how to heal. And it's going to be very reasonable. I'm going to teach you how to work on energy healing for yourself and how to better operate, how to get your clairs activated, how to practice your clairs. So stay tuned for that. We're working on quite a bit. Again, we're always brainstorming and working. I want to empower people to not need to go to the doctor, to not unless you arms like bleeding or something, right? To not need to do this stuff, to really take your life because it's so empowering when you learn how to do something for self. When you understand something like this for yourself and you can help your friends and family, there's no other feeling like it. It's so empowering. Like that giving, it's always better to give than to get, right? That feeling. It's like, oh, and yes, it's nice to receive too. But when you got this skill set and you know you can help people, it's really, really beautiful. And it's coming. There's still going to be a lot of need for help. So getting some tools in your toolbox. And I promise to always make it affordable. But I do need to do an energy exchange for my time. All right, you guys. I love you so much. I'm really grateful for you all. Any questions? Yeah, Arlene, don't worry about learning how to finger dose. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's all good, love. Yeah. It's hard to try and heal yourself when you have pain. Absolutely. The pain is reminding you. And you remember, Arlene, you in particular, because I know you're healing your entire lineage. So you've got a lot within your DNA, within your body. Okay? All right, you guys, signing off. I love you very much. Have a beautiful evening. Happy Sunday or wherever you are in the world. And I look forward to chatting with you soon. We look forward to chatting with you.